Hi, Emilia. Thank you so much for joining. We decided to do a session today because you're working now as a Scrum Master at BNP Paribas Fortis, and we met a bit more than a year ago because I helped you find your current job, and you're also really involved in women in tech and this kind of subjects. So that's why we wanted to have this quick session. So to start, can you introduce yourself and what you're doing?
Sure. Hi, Mathilde. Thank you so much for invitation. As you already mentioned, right now I work as a Scrum Master for BNP, which means that I help teams to become more effective, to help them deal with the obstacles that they are facing, and also to help the organizations to be a little bit more agile. So that's in the nutshell. And indeed, as you mentioned, the topics of linked to women in tech are quite close to my heart because I also had some path that led me to the place I am here. And yeah, it wouldn't be possible without women and men on the way.
Exactly. And you just say that it took you where you are now. Can you tell us how did you get into tech and yeah, tell me a little bit more about your journey.
Yeah, sure. So one may say that I got into tech by accident, but I do not believe in accidents. So I was fresh master graduate. I graduated from psychology and I was working for some HR company as a project manager. But at some point, this job was not satisfactory anymore. So I was searching for something else. And one of the interviews I had at that time was an interview for like a technical service desk support for some big company in the city I lived back then. And, I got it. So it was a challenge for me coming from a different world. And the job was kind of like an IT crowd job. I don't know if you're
Can
familiar with the
imagine.
series. So of course it was support of the end user, but mostly it was asking them if they can reboot their laptop. But putting jokes aside, this job was like a good entry point because first it gave me some affinity with technologies, it gave me some affinity with the processes that are in the IT, and it also kickstarted some other things that happened later on. So because of landing this job, I was able to later on move into change management. Division in IT in another company. And I must say that this is something that really moved me more towards IT, and I was really enjoying that part. So my job was to manage infrastructure changes. So it was also something totally different. It was again starting the new journey, new exciting chapter because the environment was very dynamic, the topics were challenging, and I was lucky enough to have a supporting environment and good people that were able to, explain complicated things in very idiot-proof words, and also managers that were supporting. So again, with support that I got along the way, I managed to be better. And as I really like working in quite dynamic, challenging, and fast changing environment, I after that my boss made a proposal. So I joined. I go to another position as a transformation officer. It was like, or transformation manager. It was very fancy title in the signature, but I was sent off to a client in Singapore. So you can imagine, like, now if I look into that from the time perspective, I'm very grateful it happened because of that, I'm in the place I am right now. But back then, like inside, I was just panicking. And if you ask my friends, they would tell you like a lot of funny stories how shaken I was internally because I was convinced that I would just die once I land in Singapore, and not because of heat, but because I will not manage and I will just be like a big disaster. So my imposter syndrome kicked in full force, but nothing like that happened. I mean, I managed. The job was challenging. It was very fast pace. It was a lot of work, but I also learned a lot. And because of this experience, I found in myself courage to move further. And right now, I live in Belgium since 5 years, and I really love it. I love living in Brussels, and I know that there are two teams: the team that hates Brussels and loves Brussels. I'm the loving part, and of course, it wasn't like a snap of the fingers that I happened to find myself here. It took a lot of work, it took a lot of networking and more work. But also, what I realized along the way, and I don't want to sound like a Paulo Coelho kind of person, but what was the most important was to figure out what's in your mind, because this is the part that was the most challenging, like you throwing stones at yourself for no reason. It was not that the biggest challenge was a tight project schedules or the understanding of technology. You always could ask for help, but what's happening in your mind, in your perception, changes a lot. So if you are balanced, if you know where you stand, if you are confident about the things you know, and if you are open to change mm, and learning, you will really, you will survive, and it will be like a nice start.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And a lot of time also when we talk to people and everything, we realize that the what keep us from the next best job or from evolving a lot of time is ourselves, because
Exactly.
sometimes we don't believe in ourselves, sometimes we are too afraid, sometimes we don't know what how to figure out what we really want. And I think your experience is really also impressive, because you moved job and you took a lot of opportunity that you had to make your own path and to decide where you wanted to go in IT. And also the thing you said about the imposter syndrome, that's probably something we're also gonna talk about a little bit later, because it happens a lot, and it happens also a lot more to women, because women tend not to feel confident about the job. So that's good that you took the opportunity and you moved past it, because you were good at it, and it
Yeah.
took you where you are.
I I wouldn't say that I moved past it. I mean, this voice is still
No
visible
problem.
or like hearable in my mind, but I just try to ignore it from time to time, because what I also learned, and I think it might be useful just to do the fact check, and just to, like, take a step back and see what is really happening and why are you hearing this voice like undermining yourself. So yeah,
Yeah.
but you are right. The women are facing a lot of it, and I also noticed that a lot of friends of mine or acquaintances, they are like have really struggles to apply for some job offers, even though if they manage to have like a lot of competences, and they are just stopped by the fact that they don't fulfill it 100%, which I think it's a miss.
Yes, totally. And in we see a lot women, they will not, if they have a job description and they fit 90%, they're not going to apply. Right? Men, if they fit 70%, they might apply. And especially in tech, because as you know, tech is still a lot of it's still hard for a woman to get into tech, and that's something also that we need to change. And we also need to change ourselves to try to, of course we're always gonna have this, and we all have our own voice in our heads that tell us that we sometimes we are not good enough and everything, but it's important to also like fight it and do things never
Yeah.
anyway. So and about so you told us about the journey and your evolution in tech. What is the thing you enjoy the most in this field?
I must say that I really enjoy the people that I'm working with. It's like in every position that I had throughout the years, I was working with a lot of experts in particular domains. And for me, it's quite impressive just to learn about new topics with the people that are the best at what they do. And also, I really like the projects that are coming my way, meaning like they are usually different. There are a lot of things happening within organization. Of course, on the other hand, you have this change fatigue when there may be too many changes. But yeah, I think if you balance and if your organization can find a good balance, it's a perfect place to thrive.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And it's good also that you love the project, and I think there is so many different projects, and just your career showed us that you've worked in so many different roles and so many different projects. It's not something that I think you're gonna get bored anytime soon. And what do you think are the biggest challenges at the moment for women in tech?
Wow, that's a very interesting and difficult question to answer because I was thinking about this question up front, and I work as a mentor in a project for women, uh, and I work with the women that are trying to go into tech, or they are trying to change their direction and they want to land their first job in tech. And what I notice is that it's very difficult for them to gain an experience or to show the experience. And this is one thing. It's also second thing, it's that they even if they have skills that are required, they are not confident enough to apply for the job. So it resonates with the thing that we already mentioned. Um, yeah, but those two things came to me as first. And when I was thinking about it, what can be done differently, I would say that people that are really trying to trigger their career within tech should be aware about the skill set that is required and try to translate the skills that they have currently, like in the jobs or the domains that they are working in, and should see how this can fit the requirements of the tech jobs or like of the tech organization, because like of course technology is very important and affinity with it is very important. It will help you a lot, but also skills like the people skills or power skills, like some people call it, this will help you a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And to come back on the challenges you mentioned, I would add one to this. I think also what keeps from women from working into tech is education also, because we see it a lot of the market. Um, every companies are trying to be more inclusive and more diverse. The problem is that there is not a lot of women on the market in tech, and I believe it's also because of education. Because
Yeah,
in a lot of mentality, especially for younger people, tech is something is just being like a geek behind the computer, but it's way more than this, and it's still seen as a thing for men and not for women or for girls. And I think we should start educate also a little bit more and go to school and talk to young people, so then they have a really good idea of what tech is, and they understand that it's not for
exactly.
men. Anyone can work in tech. um
Exactly. And this like really goes very it goes together with this underrepresentation in women. And you know, it always, I mean, it's not always, but many situations it happens that I'm the only women in the room, which shouldn't be like that. Even when we look at the positions as scrum masters or product owners, like not mentioning like the high top management, but like the middle part of the company, there are not that many women involved. So that would be very good if that could change, even as in the position as chapter leads. So there are people dealing with people. So it would be nice to see some more female colleagues.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. I totally agree on this, and I think there is it starts to change, but there is still a long way to go. And I know that you're also involved in this topic. Have you ever mentor someone, or what would be your advice for women to start a career in tech, or if you have an example of something you did also?
Yeah, so I mentioned that right now I'm working in the project that is providing mentorship for women that want to start their career on tech or change their career and path and land something in the tech. So I would I would really encourage people to search for the projects that are providing such support, because I noticed that there are like more and more uh, networking groups or projects that are really supporting women into their achieving their goals. There are a lot of initiatives raised by women in technology. Nomen Omen, it's the European organization, even worldwide organization, and they provide like a free of charge support. So there is like a lot of trainings ongoing. So it's very important. I mean, it might be important and interesting to check it out. You mentioned education. Of course, there are some people that cannot restart their studies and go full time to obtain new degree, but there are like a lot of courses that you can try out. It can be even like the online platforms like Udemy that can be quite helpful just to give you some notion of the topic. Um, I would say that depending on the path that you would choose, for example, if you would like to be um, user experience designer, maybe try to build your portfolio. You don't have to have a job in tech to do that. Maybe try to search for some NGO organization to support them and develop your portfolio and skills. Another thing that I think is very important is just to do networking, and it's not. In Poland, there is like this association of networking and nepotism. It's not the same. Networking will help you maybe land some interview, but this will not give you a job because you are son or daughter of someone else. Just to make sure that you know the people that can help you advance in your career. So that I think would be the most important things. Find a mentor, and mentor in a sense that it can be your colleague from work, it can be someone that is in the place that you would like to be, or it may be someone that had similar situations that you are facing in, because these people first will help you to navigate in the situation. They may provide you with some solutions to your problems, and they will also help you realize that you are not alone. I mean, you are not that unique, so you are the only person in the world facing this problem. There are other people dealing with this kind of issues.
Yeah, exactly. And to come back on the networking, I think it's also crucial. And I'm also networking every day in my job, and I would advise same to everyone to network. And now, so especially in the time we live today, with LinkedIn and with social media, it's really easy because networking doesn't necessarily mean going to events all day and talking to a lot of people. It can also just be sending connection on LinkedIn to people who are doing something that you're interested in, or working in a company that you would like to work, and just send a message to chat with them. And I think, yeah, that's how you can get the most out of your people can get the most out of their career, and to start having more opportunities by talking to people. And
Exactly.
that's something that we we should do more. And regarding your work also, how do you manage? Because of course you're working as a scrum master, you also have your own project on the side. How do you manage life balance, work and life balance?
Well, I learned it in a very hard way, but as of this year, I'm very happy that I work 4 days a week. And this is an idea that I really had in mind for a long time, and only this year it came into fruition. Um, so this additional day first gives me a little bit space to do the things I'm interested in, or do some additional self project that I do for fun, not because I have to. Um, I learned that having Outlook and Teams on my phone doesn't improve my work-life balance and doesn't improve my mental state health. Sorry, mental health. And so I try not to have it. Of course, I think that it's very important to be also upfront and consistent about your working hours and your availability. If you go on holidays, you go on holidays and you don't log in to check out, because first, you are not a control freak, I would assume. And second, usually you are not the only person that can solve the problem. I mean, very rarely you are the only expert with such a knowledge that the company will burn if you are on 2 weeks of holidays. So I think it's to have like a good work balance. It really requires a lot of work from yourself and your end. So you set the boundaries the way that suit you, and also you are professional in that, because I don't mean situations when you are like, shutting off your laptop without any notification, or you stop replying if you are really needed. So I think you need to just see what really works for yourself and find the things that really makes you happy and makes you distressed, like
Yeah,
after work or during the work.
it did. And also the thing you said about setting your own boundaries, I think that's also a key point here because we all have different boundaries. I know that I have my mail on my phone. I check my mail sometimes and everything, but it's because I accept it for myself and I know it makes me happy because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. And I believe it's really important for everyone um, to know their own boundaries and to set up their own rules because we are all different, and also in life it can change because depending
Of
on your
course,
age, where you're in life, what you're looking for your life, it changes. The boundaries are not the same and are not set in stone. So I think it's really important also to accept your own, that people accept their own boundaries and know what they are at their in their life at the moment and what they want in their life, in their job, to manage it properly, because otherwise it's hard to balance it if you don't know what you're
yeah,
looking for.
exactly. And I think that it's also closely related to like discovering what is a value to you, because if you are sure that certain things have a big impact for you or are very valuable to you, you shouldn't compromise on it. And yeah, it's still like very personal thing, because every situation is different, and maybe temporary you would have to compromise on something, but just don't forget what is important to you in the long run.
Exactly. So again, listen to yourself. That's uh,
Yeah.
that's a key point here. And coming back to you, because I'm a little bit conscious of time, and I still want to discuss a little bit about your experience and more your future. Where do you see yourself in the future, and where do you see the tech industry in general in the future? Doesn't need to
Oh,
be in 5 years. It can be near
thank you.
or less.
Well, that's very difficult question for me to answer, because I have a tendency to be interested in many different topics, and I also see, and if you are interested in different topics, the future may look different depending on the topic you put your focus on. I think if I think about myself, I would like to focus more on working with teams and working on setting like highly effective teams. Also working on the diversity with the teams, in a sense that, every one of us has different personality, and it doesn't mean that we need to have everyone the same shape and size in the team. We should work with these differences and see the power within differences. So I would like to somehow combine my experience in IT and working with different teams together with another experience that I'm gathering as a psychology graduate, and also a person that is dealing with the personality differences diagnosis. So this is, I think, the future that I would like to go towards to. And about the predictions for the tech industry, well, I think the artificial intelligence will be like just continue to evolve, and it will impact a lot of areas of the technologies, and we see it like right now as it's evolving super fast, and there are new tools popping up every now and then, and that can enhance your daily work. Um, I think that there will be also a lot of movements linked to ethical artificial intelligence and the regulation that could be quite interesting to see how it's dealt with, on the regulatory level. Of course, the cybersecurity will be quite hot topic with all this advancement of the technology. So I think there are like a lot of interesting times ahead, and it's difficult to predict what will happen. So let's see.
Yes, of course. And we already see with the AI and cybersecurity at the European level, there is already some acts and regulations that are being put into place, and then companies start to recruit, of course, people for this. And yes, I agree that AI is going to be a big part of the future in tech, and hopefully also we're going to manage to have more women in tech and be more and more inclusive. And it's with people like you also who help other and mentor other women that we're going to reach this future.
With pleasure.
But thank you so much for participating today. And as always, it was a pleasure talking to you. And see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.